All right, get ready because today we're diving deep into time travel.
Time travel.
We're exploring a YouTube video with a hypnotist and a subject named Georgeta.
Oh, wow.
Under hypnosis, she describes someone going to the future. We're treating her experience as factual for this deep dive, just to see what we can uncover.
Okay, sounds interesting.
The core concept here is this civilization called the SAC, and they've somehow mastered time travel.
Mastered time travel.
But their tech is pretty unique.
Unique how?
It really throws a wrench in our typical ideas about time travel.
Really? How so?
Because it's not about some big fancy machine or anything.
Oh.
It's all about a deep connection between the traveler and, like, this living material.
That's fascinating. It does challenge those sci-fi tropes we're used to.
Right. It's definitely not your average time machine.
So what is it then?
Georgeta calls it a suit. But it's not like a suit you'd wear, you know.
I see.
It's more like a second skin. It
Yeah.
grows with a traveler, starting way back in adolescence.
That's wild. Imagine that, growing your own time travel vehicle.
And get this, she says the material comes from a specific spot in the SAC's territory, and it's like mercury.
Like mercury.
Yeah.
That detail about the material is really interesting.
Yeah.
If it's unique to their territory and it develops this way with the traveler, it kind of explains why she thinks no one can just copy this tech.
Right.
Like you can't just steal it or reverse engineer it. It's totally tied to the individual.
It's more about personal development then, rather than brute force tech.
Exactly. That's a really interesting angle.
But why even bother with time travel? What's their motivation?
Okay, so Georgeta explains they've observed a devolution.
Devolution.
Yeah, a decline in their future civilization.
Oh, wow.
So their whole time travel thing, it's about counteracting that decline.
Wow. So they're not out conquering timelines.
No, it's not about exploiting other timelines. It's like they're trying to save their own future.
It's refreshing to hear a time travel story where they're not the bad guys.
I know, right?
Most time travel stories are so dystopian.
Yeah.
It makes you think about our own time, you know? Are there things happening now that could lead to a decline?
Absolutely. That's a question worth pondering.
And hold on to your hat, because this is where it gets even wilder. Georgeta describes how the SAC's time travel makes this, like, bridge of energy.
A bridge of energy?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it could even be affecting us right now.
That's a mind-blowing concept.
Well-
If this energy bridge is real, then the actions we take in the present
Yeah.
could have consequences way beyond what we can even imagine.
It adds a whole other layer to time travel.
It really does.
And here's another bombshell. Georgeta confirms that time travel exists on Earth, too.
Really? On Earth?
But there's a catch.
There's always a catch with time travel, it seems.
It's only practiced by a very small group, a very secretive group.
I see.
And their method is different from the SAC.
So maybe that special suit material just isn't found on Earth.
Or maybe humanity just isn't ready for it.
Maybe. But here's what's fascinating. Georgeta says even if someone with bad intentions found this material, it wouldn't work for them.
Because it's so tied to positive intentions and development.
Exactly. This time travel tech, it seems inherently linked to personal growth and positive aims.
So we have Earthlings potentially time traveling, the SAC with their symbiotic suits. Could there be multiple ways to travel through time?
That's a great question. It opens up the possibility of all sorts of methods and travelers out there.
Speaking of other travelers, let's bring another source into the mix. A Colombian journalist named Roberto Gaitan Tobar documented stories about extraterrestrials visiting Colombia. And get this, they wear these similar suits, like the SAC.
That's really intriguing. Could there be a network of time travelers out there?
It's possible, right? Like a whole community we just don't know about.
What are their motivations? Are they working together or are their goals totally different?
So many questions. And we can't forget about the book Jerusalem by J.J. Benitez. He writes about time travel to the time of Jesus.
Oh, I've heard of that book.
But Georgeta actually dismisses it.
She does.
Yeah, she says it's more fiction than fact.
It's a good reminder to be skeptical.
Right. We can't just believe everything we hear or read.
We need to think critically and look for evidence.
So let's recap. We've got the SAC with their suits, a secret group of humans potentially time traveling, and extraterrestrials popping up in Colombia. It's a lot to process.
Yes.
What are your key takeaways so far?
For me, it's how the SAC approach time travel. It goes beyond just technology. It's woven together with personal growth, positive intention, and this incredible connection to a living material.
And they're not out to conquer.
Yep.
They're trying to prevent decline
Mm.
and help their civilization evolve.
Exactly. Their purpose offers a hopeful perspective on how time travel could be used.
And don't forget, their time travel might be creating this energy bridge that's influencing us right now.
That's a huge concept to consider.
It really makes you think, what kind of future could we create if we could harness time travel for good? What role might we play in shaping that future?
That's a question worth pondering. It seems there's so much more to uncover about time travel, both out there in the universe and within ourselves.
Well, buckle up, because we're going to dive even deeper when we come back.
You know, it's really fascinating how the SAC's approach to time travel has, well, evolved over time.
Evolve.
Yeah, it seems like they weren't always so focused on preventing this future devolution.
Oh.
Georgeta actually mentioned that they used to travel a lot more freely, through time and space.
Huh. So they weren't always these seemingly benevolent time travelers.
Right. It's almost like they learned from their past mistakes, so to speak.
What do you mean? What kind of mistakes?
Well, remember when Georgeta talked about those wars and invasions she witnessed in other parts of the universe?
Yeah, that whole domino effect of negativity. Are you suggesting that the SAC's early time travels, the less structured ones,
Yeah.
could those have actually contributed to those conflicts?
It's definitely possible, though it's hard to say for sure if they directly caused those events.
Right.
But it does seem like their experiences showed them the potential consequences of, let's say, unrestrained time travel.
It's a good reminder that even with something as amazing as time travel, there are still risks involved.
Absolutely. It underscores the importance of intention and responsibility when it comes to time travel.
It's not just a joyride.
Yeah, exactly. It's a powerful tool that requires a deep understanding of its potential impact.
So let's bring it back to the SAC's current mission, counteracting that devolution in their future.
Yeah.
How are they actually doing that?
Well, it's not like they're taking a direct, hands-on approach.
What do you mean?
Georgeta described them sharing information and knowledge and experiences with people in the future.
So they're not like imposing their will or anything.
No, it's more like they're planting seeds of awareness.
Almost like time-traveling influencers.
Yeah, exactly. They're not forcing change, but they're offering guidance based on what they've learned.
It's a much more subtle approach.
And maybe ultimately a more effective one.
This whole idea of time travel being used for good, it really challenges our usual assumptions, doesn't it?
He really does.
I mean, we're so used to those dystopian stories about time travel.
Yeah, rogue time travelers changing the past for personal gain.
Exactly, creating chaos and paradoxes. But this SAC, they seem to have a higher purpose.
It makes you wonder if time travel could really be a force for good, a way to help guide humanity towards a more positive future.
It's incredible to think about. And if it's possible, what role could we play in that?
That's a profound question. Maybe we can learn from the SAC, focus on developing those qualities that would allow us to use this potential technology responsibly.
Like intention, responsibility, and understanding how everything is connected.
Exactly.
Okay, so remember how Georgeta mentioned that there are people on Earth being prepared for time travel?
Oh, yes, that was fascinating.
Well, get this. These individuals are already cultivating their personalized suits.
Wow, just like the SAC.
But they're not waiting for adolescence. They're starting as children.
As children. That's a significant difference. It implies a completely different approach, maybe even a different understanding of the relationship between the traveler and the technology.
What kind of training are these kids going through?
And what skills are they learning?
What's their purpose?
It almost sounds like a secret society, a group dedicated to preparing these individuals for some kind of mission involving time travel.
A mission through time.
Georgeta actually mentioned their training revolves around a concept they call the 3 C's.
The 3 C's.
Yeah.
What are those?
Compassion,
Okay.
consciousness,
And?
connection. Georgeta explained that these are the essential qualities for anyone undertaking this type of time travel.
That makes sense. Compassion to make sure they're not messing things up.
Mm.
Consciousness so they're aware of their actions.
Yes,
And connection. Is that about how they connect to the suit material?
you got it. It seems like this method of time travel demands a deep understanding of interconnectedness.
Between the traveler and the suit.
Right.
Between everyone and everything.
Yes.
And across different dimensions of time and space.
It's a truly fascinating concept.
It's almost like they're training these kids to be time-traveling Jedi masters.
Haha, that's a great analogy. It's not just about the technical stuff, it's about cultivating inner qualities. Qualities that would allow them to use this ability wisely.
So it's not as simple as just putting on a suit and hopping through time, is it?
No, not at all. It seems like it's about personal growth and understanding your place in the universe.
This is where things get really, really interesting. Remember how Georgeta mentioned that the way time travel is achieved on Earth is different from the Sachs method?
Right, and how the suit material they use doesn't exist here.
Well, she said there is a material on Earth that can be used.
Yeah.
It's not sentient like the Sachs suits,
Mm-hmm.
but it has some incredible properties.
Holy.
It's, wait for it, water.
Water. Regular water.
H2O.
You're kidding, right?
Nope. It seems like water has some hidden properties we're only just starting to understand.
Water for time travel. It's hard to imagine.
I know, right?
How is that even possible?
Well, according to Georgeta, water can actually store and transmit information.
Information.
Like it's this massive cosmic hard drive holding memories of everything it's ever encountered.
You're telling me every drop of water contains like a record of history?
It's mind-blowing.
It really is.
And these time travelers, they figured out how to tap into that information, to use it to navigate through different points in time.
So they're not bending space and time.
Nope.
They're surfing on waves of information stored in water.
That's a great way to put it.
Wow, that is incredible. So how do they actually do it, use water to travel through time?
Georgeta mentioned something called chronohydration.
Chronohydration.
Yeah, it sounds pretty sci-fi, right?
It does.
But it's basically a process of altering the informational structure of water using specific frequencies and vibrations to create like a temporal portal.
Chronohydration. It sounds like something out of a movie.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But if Georgeta's right, then this could be a real technology.
It really makes you think about the power of consciousness and intention. If they can be used to manipulate water in this way,
Yeah,
it opens up some incredible possibilities.
definitely. Let's take a moment to process this.
A good idea. There's a lot to absorb, and I have a feeling there are even more surprises in store for us.
All right, welcome back. Water as a tool for time travel. It's pretty mind-blowing, but if anyone can figure it out, it's got to be these chronohydrators, right?
It is fascinating, but it does make you wonder, if this chronohydration thing really works, why isn't everyone doing it?
Right. Why isn't everyone and their dog hopping through time?
Well, it probably isn't as simple as, just drinking a glass of water and poof, you're in another time.
So there's got to be more to it, right?
Exactly. Georgeta mentioned that it requires a very specific type of water, and apparently it's not that easy to find.
Ah, there's the catch. Where do they get this special time-traveling water?
Okay, get this. She described an underground lake hidden deep beneath a major city.
An underground lake under a city.
Yeah. She didn't say exactly which city, but she mentioned it's a place with a lot of energy, historically significant.
Intense energy and historical significance. Maybe it's one of those ancient cities, the ones that are said to have powerful energetic vortices.
It's definitely a possibility. And it would make sense, with all this talk about consciousness and intention playing such a big role in time travel. Maybe these ancient sites amplify those properties in the water.
So we've got this secret lake filled with time travel water, and we've got these folks who've been training for it since they were kids. What are they actually trying to accomplish? What's their mission?
That's the big question, isn't it? Georgeta was a little vague on the details. She used phrases like repairing the tapestry of time.
Repairing the tapestry of time.
Yeah, and restoring balance to the timelines.
It almost sounds like they're trying to fix something that's gone wrong. Maybe even undo some damage to the timelines.
Exactly. Remember we talked about those ripple effects, how time travel can have unintended consequences?
Yeah. So maybe these chronohydrators are like temporal custodians, traveling through time to make sure things unfold the way they should.
It's an intriguing idea, isn't it? Time travel as a way to take responsibility for the past and ensure a better future.
Before we wrap things up, let's circle back to those extraterrestrials Roberto Gaetan Tobar documented. The ones wearing those suits, like the sci-fi.
Right.
Georgeta confirmed they're the real deal. But she said they use a different method of time travel. Any clues as to what that might be?
Well, she mentioned something called quantum entanglement.
Quantum entanglement.
Yeah. Apparently it involves two particles being linked, no matter how far apart they are. If you change one, the other changes instantly.
Whoa. And they're using this to travel through time.
It seems that way. They're using entanglement to connect their suits to specific points in time and essentially teleport themselves.
teleporting through time. That's insane. Think of the possibilities, though, if we could travel through time like that.
It would be revolutionary, but can you imagine the implications? We'd need some seriously strict guidelines to prevent any misuse.
Yeah, some kind of time travel rule book.
Definitely. Time travel is a powerful tool, and we need to approach it with caution and wisdom.
So we've covered a lot today. Sentient suits, chronohydration, quantum entanglement. So many possibilities, so many mysteries. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
It's incredible, isn't it? Time travel isn't just one thing. There are so many different ways it could work, so many possibilities we haven't even considered. It's a reminder that we need to keep an open mind and be prepared to challenge our assumptions.
Absolutely. We've only just scratched the surface of what's out there, and who knows, maybe someday time travel will be a reality for all of us.
It's an exciting thought.
It is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the mysteries of time travel. Until next time.